Welcome back, friends. We're carrying on with our next lesson. Still talking about numbers, and today we're going to show you quite a cool little trick to square a number. All right, to square a number, to multiply it by itself if it ends in 5. All right, so let's look at an example. So the first thing is that the answer will always end in 25, right? And that's not too surprising because 5 squared is 25. Right, we're going to do an example up here. I'm going to do 35. Right, so if we are squaring 35, and remember what squaring 35 means, it means 35 times by 35. Then what the thing says is it's going to end in 25. That's going to be part of our answer. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the original number without the 5. So we're going to take the 3, just the 3, and we're going to multiply it by the number which follows it, the number 1 bigger than it. So in other words, we're going to go 3 times by 4. What's 3 times by 4? It's 12. And that piece will come before the 25. So there it is. 35 squared is 1225. Okay, let's try another one. All right, 45, we know it's going to end in 25. Now we're going to take this number over here, the 4, and we're going to multiply it by the number that comes after it. What comes after 4? 5. Okay, what's 4 times 5? Well, we hope you know that by now. 4 times 5 is 20. Right, and that's the really cool thing. We've got a quick way of squaring a number that ends in 5. And you'll sound really clever to your friends when you know that 35 squared, you can do that in your head. 1, 2, 12, 25. 45 squared is 2025. And that's really cool because what that means is that this year, 2025, is actually a perfect square. Right, the last perfect square year was in 44 squared. That was in 1936, 1936. And the next one will only be in 2116. That will be 46 squared. Let's not lose track of what we're doing here. We want you to just pause the video and see if you can try this one. Now, make sure you understand what we're doing. The answer will end in 25. We're going to take the number before the 5, this piece over here, and we're going to multiply by the number 1 bigger than that. Right, you have a go. Just have a go and see if you can do it. That's correct. It's going to end in 25. What's the number 1 bigger than 7? It's 8. 75 squared is 5625. Let's just check that because you might be thinking, Paul, how do you know that that's right? Okay, let's have a look. 75 squared, there it is, 5,625. Okay, what about 95 squared? All right, put the 25 down. What is 9 times the number 1 bigger than that? What's 9 times 10? 9 times 10 is 90. 95 squared is 9025. Right, we can even have more than one digit here. All right, 115 squared. It's going to end in 25. What is 11 multiplied by the number 1 bigger than 11? All right, what is 11 times 12? Okay, we're not sure if you've learned all your times tables up to there, but 11 times 12 is 132. So 115 squared is 13,225. Let's just check it. Okay, 115 squared. There it is, 13,225. Now this is a really cool trick because you can look really clever in front of your friends. And you are really clever, okay? You're a work in progress. If you're working hard, you're going to be getting better and better at numbers. Practice your times tables. Can't tell you often enough. Practice your times tables. Okay, now we're going to look at how even something like 4.5 squared, we can use a similar trick here, all right? So 4.5 squared, let's just think about if the decimal place was not there. In other words, if it was 45 squared, If it was 45 squared, we would know that the answer would be 2, 5, and 4 times 5. Remember the number 1 bigger? 20, 25. We did that one up there. Now, if you square 4, just 4, you will get a number like 16, won't you? And if you square 5, what will you get? You'll get 25. So 4.5 squared must be somewhere in between these two numbers. So 4.5 squared must be 20,25. Right? Let's look at this one. This one's 750 squared. Let's not worry about the 7. Let's think about how we could write this. That's 750 times 750. Okay? Let's leave the zeros off. In other words, let's multiply by 100. And that 100 is kind of compensating for these two zeros. What is 75 squared? We did it earlier. 75 squared, it ends in 25. What's 7 times 8? It's 5, 6. And now our final answer is just going to be 5, 6, 2, 5 with 2 more zeros on. Right, what we quite like to do with numbers is we quite like to separate every third digit. So if we write it like this, 5, 6, 2, with a little bit of a space, that's 562,500. Okay, let's do 1,5 squared. Well, let's just ignore the decimal point for now, and let's just go 15 squared. Well, it will end in 25. And 1, what's 1 times the number 1 bigger than it? It's 2. 1 times 2 is 2. All right, so that answer is clearly, the answer is not 225, right? If we squared 1, what would we get? 1 times 1? 1. If we squared 2, what would we get? 2 squared? 2 times 2? 4. So our answer must lie in between 1 and 4, so the decimal point must be there. Okay, and now this one here, 0,15 squared, right? Well, 15 squared, right? 15 squared, I'm going to show you a way of looking at this, okay? Let's go for 15. Sorry, let's go for 15 times 0,01. Right? That is 15 divided by 100 or times by 100th. Now we're going to multiply that by another 15 times 0,01. Right. Now the 15 times the 15 is easy. We know how to do 15 times 15. It ends in 25. We take the 1 and we multiply by the number 1 bigger, which is 2. Right. But that answer now needs to be divided by 10. Let's have a look. Twice over here and twice over here. So in other words, our answer is going to be, we're going to move the decimal point once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. That's going to be the answer, 0,0225. Let's check it. Okay, if we square 0,115, sorry, 0,15, we get that, and if we get the decimal representation, there it is. Okay, don't worry too much about these last ones. If you found them really difficult, there'll be some of you that are quite comfortable with it. All right, but just a little trick for how to square numbers that end in 5. When we've done some algebra in grade 9, we'll be able to prove why this trick works. For now, you can use it without knowing why it works. Okay, let's turn over. There's some space for your teacher to make up some extra examples. And in fact, we're going to stop here because our next lesson is the start of a new topic, and that's called prime numbers. Okay, we look forward to seeing you then.